That's right. Let's go, let's go, let's go. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the first edition of Trifectas Unleashed, presented by Real Take No Holds Barred Sports. I am your host, Alex Washington, a.k.a. A-Wash, coming in hot from dirty-ass basement studios located right in Auburn. How's everybody doing tonight, man? Super excited. It's the first show of the Real Take era, if you will. We're going to be spreading like a disease. We're super excited to be here, and we're gonna bring some real sports knowledge to the table. This is really just the place for, just a politically incorrect, obscene, just real takes. All right, that's just what we do. This is who we are. I'm only a third of the trifecta here. And I got two more to introduce, and I'm super pumped that these two are going to be with me through this journey. So, without further ado, I've got Dirty South's finest, Adam Little, coming in from Lisbon. How's everybody? How's Adam doing tonight?
I'm doing good, Alex. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm excited. A little nervous. First show, going out public tomorrow. I'm super excited.
I'm excited to get the show on the road. Let
For
the
sure.
Real Take Nation hear some sports takes that aren't scripted or put on front by a big company.
Agreed. Couldn't agree anymore.
Just a couple of guys shooting the shit.
Yeah, absolutely. Whatever, man. Definitely excited to have you on the show, buddy.
Appreciate it. Excited to be here.
Let's bring on the pretty boy, man. Let's bring on our version of Randy Moss. He's hailing from Portland, Maine. His name's Chris Allen. Chris, say what's up to the people, man. How you doing tonight?
Yo, black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow. Hey, what's up there, Alex? How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm excited. I'm very excited to have us three, all together, just like Adam said, just shooting the breeze and just bringing that sports knowledge to the table.
I got a little story for you, Alex.
Big story. Let's go.
Man. Here we go.
Yeah, well, you know how our friend Neil claims I'm not an athlete, right?
Yes.
Well, I started training for my triathlon today, Alex, and I got to be honest with you, I'm a little sore. So I just want everybody out there, Real Take Nation, know that your boy Chris, who you're going to be becoming accustomed to, is training for a triathlon.
Really?
Oh, all right. I'm stepping in. I'm stepping in here. I got to break the show down for the people. All right. First off, we got Alex, okay? Alex is the homer. He's the Boston Bean Eater. He's the one that all of you guys are going to agree with and like his takes on everything, because most of his takes are exactly like yours. It's all
because
Boston
I'm right more
sports,
often than
all
not.
the time, all everything. Then we got Chris over there. He's the flip-flopper. He wants to be liked by everybody. So he's going to go with the majority of you. Me, on the other hand, I'm the Boston hater. I am probably the biggest asshole of the group. I hate all teams Boston, and I'm not afraid to yell it loud.
Well, let's be honest.
Most of you guys like me, but that's okay.
You love Tom Brady. You love Hanley Ramirez.
No. Hanley's a cancer, and Brady's screw him in his perfect life.
I can't really rebut that, man. He does have a perfect life, except for a couple weeks ago. But that's topic for another discussion. So, with the first episode, Adam and Chris and I really kind of just put our heads together a little bit. We could have topics to go off. We got the Super Bowl coming up next Sunday, which we'll probably get into a little bit tonight, but mostly we'll get into that closer to kickoff, if you will. We kind of left the show up to Real Take Nation for us. Essentially, we put out a flyer to see what people were interested in talking about tonight and wanted us to talk about. So that's really kind of what this episode is all about. We're doing this more or less for obviously for the fun of it, because all three of us here are, very big sports fans, but we all of you are. So we kind of made this a free for all session, if you will. You guys came up with some awesome questions for us, and
Alex, wait, hold on. You just said we're all sports, but I didn't. Atlanta doesn't technically count as a sports town, right? Because none of their teams are actually relevant.
Oh my God. He's going shots fired right at
shots
the beginning.
fired. We have a segment here that we weren't even going to get into tonight. It's a little bit down the road, but it's a segment called Shots Fired, where we essentially kind of make fun of whoever's talking about a particular team or player, and just kind of rag on them a little bit. And if you guys haven't noticed, we've already reached a point of shots fired where they've already gone back and forth.
That's what he gets for interrupting my talk about my triathlon. Because I know the public wants to hear all about their boy Chris training for a triathlon, because that's why they came to listen to us tonight, right, Alex?
I'm going to plead the fifth on that, Chris.
Why don't you make it a decathlon so you can be like Caitlyn Jenner?
I got nothing on that.
That was good. So
10 more years, he'll be Christina Allen.
Hopefully they're 10 good years.
Let's get into real sports, man. What the hell's wrong with you guys?
Sorry, Alex.
What's whatever. So like I said, we got the Super Bowl coming up. Let's get into that real quick. Really, I kind of look at this game as being one-sided. We'll just do a couple quick little takes on it. Just my opinion, I see this being one-sided, but that's kind of how, the whole country looked at the Pats-Broncos game. Denver's sitting pretty right now because essentially they weren't even supposed to be in the Super Bowl, according to every expert, including myself, anybody else. But I just think this is a perfect situation for Denver because they're already they're already supposed to lose, so they can play free. They can play freely, if you will. But in my opinion, I do think Carolina is the better team. But we'll see, man. Like I said, Denver's sitting pretty. They, they don't really need to prove anything. They're not supposed to be here, so they can just play. So who knows? Peyton Manning comes out slinging with that noodle arm and just shocks the world. But I think, long story short, I think Carolina probably wins 17-13. It's going to be a real ugly game, but it'll be fun to watch. Adam, I don't know how you feel about that, but I know Denver's defense is really good, but Carolina's defense is really good, and they got probably the NFL MVP. So I don't know how you feel about that, buddy.
I break it down like this. New England's offense, I think we all can agree, is more explosive than Carolina's.
Yes.
And Denver punched them right in the face.
Right from the first snap.
Yeah. So I don't see the game plan changing much from this. The only thing that's different to me is Carolina's got a better offensive line, and when Von Miller and the defensive line get to Cam, can they bring him down? He's elusive, as we all know. He extends plays to give time for his lack of weapons that he has to get open. But Denver's secondary is pretty good as well.
Yeah.
So I think it'll be a close game. I actually like Denver to win the game pretty close.
Yeah. Chris, do you think that they end up punching Greg Olsen in the mouth, just take him away? Because that's really all Cam's got on the offensive side. I know Ted Ginn is explosive, and they got Jonathan Stewart, who's a very good running back. But if you take out, Cam's security blanket and Olsen, what does that leave him?
Well, a big thing about this game is that the fact that the difference between Tom Brady and Cam Newton is how much more mobile Cam Newton is. Now, basically, when like Adam was saying, when Von Miller comes around the edge, the question is Cam Newton going to run? Now, that's going to keep the defensive backs wondering what he's going to be doing. Now, as he's rolling out, is he going to throw the ball? Is he going to keep running? That's a big thing. So, in my opinion, I think it's a lot different. Everybody thought the Pats were going to go out there and just beat up Denver, including me. And then they shocked the world, really. They pretty much shocked the world. They won the game, and here they are. And like you said, Alex, they have nothing to lose. But Alex, don't you agree with me that that being a mobile quarterback and that it's a whole nother element. And yes, I think Denver's defense is good. I don't think it's as good as everybody else has been saying all year. How they're not the '85 Bears. They're not the Baltimore Ravens when they beat my Giants.
Yep.
They are not even the Seattle Seahawks of 2 years ago. And I feel like this Super Bowl is a lot like the Super Bowl when Denver played Seattle. I feel like it's
you could potentially
it's
see
only a matter of time.
You could potentially see it being another like a 43-8 type game. I just don't see it. I mean, when Denver got in there the last time with Peyton, their defense wasn't remotely close. And I mean, Denver did punch arguably the best offense in the NFL right in the mouth. I don't know. I
just want you to answer this question. What's going to happen when Peyton gets knocked around? What's going to happen? Because unfortunately for you guys, for your Patriots, you guys were banged up. Your athletes really couldn't play up to their 100% potential. Mm-hmm. Now you've got a guy like Kuechly running around like a madman. I mean, that guy's playing like a man possessed. I mean,
yes.
And he's not the only one. I mean, that team is going to hit Peyton Manning. Now, how many times is Peyton Manning going to get hit until it starts getting affected? Now, their secondary, again, nobody's talking about the Carolina defense. It's all about how the Broncos defense is going to handle the offense. But we forget how good the Panthers defense is. They have a very good secondary as well, including arguably the top 3 cornerbacks in the league, and then Kuechly, who in my opinion might be the defensive player of the year.
Oh, I don't even think it's going to be close, honestly. If Honey Badger never got hurt, I think he would probably be right in the discussions. But Luke Kuechly's having a crazy good year. But we seem to forget, and Adam, I was talking to Adam earlier in the week about this. Thomas Davis broke his arm. And he had surgery the day after the game. But, Adam, how effective is he going to be? Because to me, with a broken arm, how effective can you really be? Just a form tackle, or being able to wrap him up. Who knows if he's going to even be able to use that strength in that arm? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think Denver's gonna do a lot of running plays right at him to force him to tackle. If he's out in coverage, he's going to be lined up on Daniels, and it's hard to bring down any tight end in the league with one arm.
Correct.
And if he ends up in a double coverage situation where he's covered Demarius Thomas is a big wide receiver, so I just don't see how effective he really be in the game.
We'll see. I mean,
I think that I think that I've been hearing some stuff about that, and the cast that they are putting on him is going to be I think it's like a titanium cast, Alex, and I'm not really sure. I mean, people have played with injuries like this before. It's not like he's wearing I've heard a lot of people say that it's way better than a leg injury. This is a type of injury where you get the cast in place and it shouldn't affect his mobility much at all, or his tackling. I don't think he is going to be playing actually with one arm. It's not going to be quite like how they were concerned with when Peyton Manning had a bad arm, his arm was hurting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So another thing about the game to me is Denver is battle tested to me as far as close games throughout the season and stuff. They've won a lot of games close. They didn't really blow anybody up. Carolina steamrolled everybody.
Yeah.
Except for
your
my
Falcons, buddy. Except for your Falcons. There's something that you could – there's some silver lining for you.
Adam's Super Bowl.
So, I mean, as far as close games, we don't know how Carolina's going to react to – I mean, the closest game they had in the playoffs was that one against Seattle, but that game wasn't as close as the score indicated. Carolina kind of gave up in the second half and let Seattle get back into it. They were blowing the doors off of them.
Yeah.
So, I think if it's a close game, it favors Denver. I think Denver's going to have to make sure Carolina doesn't get off to the hot start, or we could be looking at another Seattle versus Denver Super Bowl where it gets ugly real quick.
Let me ask you a question, Adam. Now,
go for it.
You seem to be, over the last few weeks, I've been gathering that you are a pretty big Peyton Manning fan. I understand he's a coach on the field. He can see things. He can make adjustments. He can call audibles. He can adjust where he are going. It's almost like it's a very big benefit to that team. I will give you that. Okay, but my question to you is, when he plays against a team like Carolina, who just are a bunch of ball hawks, don't you think at one point with the weakness of his arm, and yes, I repeat myself, the weakness of his arm, it will come into play at some point in time before the season is over and the season is ending on Sunday? Don't you think one time that maybe with the arm strength, there could be a problem with these playmakers for Carolina?
Well, I don't have the same issues with his arm strength as you do. I thought his arm strength was pretty good against New England, and I mean, New England's defense is pretty good, and he literally torched them the first quarter, and that game should have been so far out of reach that it was never close.
But you just made my point for me, though. It should have been it should have been a blowout, but then he didn't do anything in the second half. Now, what's going to happen in the Super Bowl with a similar defense to the Patriots? And I'm sorry, Alex, a little bit more talented, and
bastard.
You can't just play one half at him. You can't play one.
I understand that, but he took 7 weeks off during the season. The first half of the season, he was hurt, and then he took 7 weeks off. Since he's come back, his arm strength looks. Now you're giving him 2 weeks off before he plays one game, possibly the last one of his career.
So
I guess I'm the only one out of the three of us that really likes Carolina. Alex, what are you thinking? Are you thinking old man Peyton's really going to get it done? I mean, Alex, talk to me here.
No, I honestly think that Carolina is going to win the game. It's like I said, the lead up to this game is so much like I was saying earlier, the Pats Broncos game, where no one sees any or can envision any way that Carolina is going to lose this game. You know, everybody's saying that the only way that Carolina loses this game is if they beat themselves. But we'll see. You know, Denver can honestly play freely because they have nothing to lose here. You know, obviously they can say they played for Peyton and all that stuff. But
see, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I disagree with you. Denver does have something to lose. I mean, that's buddy. It's kind of a silly statement to make. They're playing in the Super Bowl. This is the biggest game of their lives. Peyton Manning is going out. This is probably his last game. So I disagree with you. I don't think I think they do have a lot to lose, Alex.
Well, you get to the Super Bowl. I mean, if you lose, it sucks. But when you look at the storylines here, all they're talking about is how Carolina is going to win or lose this game. There's nothing in the papers and social media saying that Denver has a chance. They talk about Carolina's defense. They talk about how great Cam Newton is at dancing and all that other gum chewing crap, whatever you want to do, handing the football to the kids. But you don't hear anything about Denver. So if I was Carolina, I'd be a little bit, I guess, leery of it, if you will. I still think that Carolina's going to win. I think Carolina's going to win a close game.
Yeah, what I'm thinking of is what Adam just said. Is like the biggest thing I think of is the second half. If it stays close. If Peyton Manning does well in the first half, how does he respond in the second half? That's a big question mark in the Super Bowl.
We'll see.
Well,
I think I really look at whoever's going to win the turnover battle. I think that's really when it's going to come down to. I think the first person to make the first real crucial mistake, someone fumbles, Cam or Peyton throws a pick, or doesn't capitalize on field position. I kind of count that sometimes as a turnover, depending on the situation. But I look at that turnover battle. To me, these teams match up so evenly. So I just think it's going to take a turnover, a pick, a fumble, something like that. Just to change the complexion of the game.
I agree with you. I definitely agree with you. Adam, what I want to know from you is I think we should get to prediction time because Alex, I think you got some fans that want to ask some questions that want us to answer some things, right? So
yeah, we're gonna get into that for sure.
Yeah, what are you thinking? What are you thinking for a score, Adam?
I'm taking Denver. Obviously, I've been rolling with Denver all season. A couple of members of Real Take Nation called me out a little bit earlier this season about putting Denver a little higher in our power rankings than their beloved New England Patriots.
And you know who you are.
And you guys know who you are. Not only did they beat you once, they beat you twice. So I'm rolling with Denver 24-17.
I hate you. I hate you.
Alex, what are you thinking, buddy?
I think it's, like I was saying, I think it's going to be an ugly game, but I think it's going to be entertaining. I just think both of them are so evenly matched. I think Denver possesses a little more offensive firepower in the sense of playmakers, but it's all going to be literally on the right shoulder of Peyton. I think Cam is going to have to single-handedly win the game himself on the offensive side. So, and I think he's fully capable of doing that against, a stellar defense like Denver. But I'm gonna go Carolina 17-14. Chris, what do you got, buddy?
Well, Alex, I'm thinking that, again, like you said, it's going to come down to the arm of Peyton Manning. I feel like in the first half, I agree with Adam for one half of this football game. I think it's going to be a close game, but I've been saying all along through these playoffs before we were able to do a podcast is that I don't feel like Denver will score more than 20 points. And they scored. What did they score against your Patriots, Alex?
They scored 20.
Exactly. So I feel as though Denver can get to 20 points. But what I feel like is it will stay close in the first half. And then I feel like Cam Newton makes everybody on his team better with his mobility. And he I feel has the strongest arm in football right now. That guy could throw the football out of the stadium.
He's been throwing pills, man. He's been throwing pills all year.
He has, and I don't think he can outthrow Ted. I don't know if Ted Ginn can outrun a Cam Newton throw. So I like I said, I like it to be close in the first half. It's going to keep the viewers watching the game, but I think in the second half, Carolina's going to run away with it. I'm going to say 42-17 Carolina.
Oh, wow.
I don't feel as though in the second half Peyton Manning's going to – I think he's going to get banged around in the first half. I think his arm's going to be hanging. I think he's going to be done after the first half. Sorry, Adam. That's just how I feel.
Well, I am one ball championships this year because I did go roll tide in the college football playoff.
Loser.
So I'm pretty confident that Denver's going to pull this out, especially the way that everybody in the nation is on the Carolina bandwagon. Carolina's offense, they put up a ton of points, but they play in the AFC South with my Falcons, with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and the New Orleans Saints, and they couldn't field a decent defense if they mixed them all together.
Let me just say one more thing. Is that possible?
Anything for you, buddy, man. This is real take. This is
Hey, thanks. I knew you were here for me. I just want to say that I feel like Josh Norman is going to take Emmanuel Sanders out of the game. I don't think they're going to put him on Demaryius Thomas because Demaryius Thomas has had a really rough year as far as catching the football is concerned. So I think right now, would you guys agree that Emmanuel Sanders is probably the most dangerous player for Peyton Manning? He seems to be the guy he finds whenever he's in trouble.
I think he's the X factor for Denver. I think Yeah, go ahead.
So I feel like Josh Norman's going to take him out of the game, and then I think at that point, I feel like once the game progresses and there is no security blanket for Peyton Manning, although he did have Owen Daniels in the first half of the Patriots game, I feel like those linebackers for Carolina are so fast. It just every way I look at it, I just don't see it happening. I just see it, like I said, I'm sticking.
Yep. We'll get into it a little more this week. I think the two best teams in the NFL are in the Super Bowl, and that's very tough for me to say. Unfortunately,
I still think the Patriots are a better team, but
I honestly think that the only team that could beat Carolina is New England, and obviously I can't get there.
Hey, so. Give Denver credit. They came in with a game plan and they executed it.
Yep, they couldn't have played any better. So. Props to them.
And the way we talked about it when we discussed that game is there was going to have to be two things that were going to have to happen for that to be a Denver victory. Denver was going to have to play out of their minds, which is what they did, and the Patriots are going to have to play pretty bad, which is what they did. I thought in the first half, Tom Brady looked like a scared rookie, and that made a big difference, Alex. I would think you would agree.
Yeah, it's hard to disagree with that. So I think that's probably where the difference will be made up with Cam Newton because even a third of the time, or even a quarter of the time, if where Brady obviously isn't as mobile as Cam, Cam can turn a sack into 4, 5, 6 yard gain and make it 2nd and 4, 3rd and 2. Put them in situations where they can be successful. And I think Cam Newton's legs are going to be a big part of this game. So
the real question, Alex, is can Adam eat more chicken wings than the Denver Broncos score? Is what I want to know.
I don't know, man. Can you eat at least 7 or 14? Can you eat 14 there, big boy?
Yeah, I think I could do 24.
Okay, so you 24 chicken wings.
Yeah.
All right, that's good.
So Alex, it seems to me like we're beating the Super Bowl down here. What you want to save that for next show? So what do you got for us?
Yeah,
now,
we'll get into that. I mean, we'll dissect it way more than we just did. But just, I know some people are curious about the Super Bowl with us and all that stuff. So we're gonna get into the Real Take Nation, stuff. Actually, there's two historic birthdays today. Jackie Robinson, everybody knows Jackie Robinson, and my buddy Scott Corvo, a legend in himself. So just want to say, happy birthday to Scott Corvo. He's been a good friend of mine for very many years. And he's a big fan of what we're doing here too, and he's a huge sports nut. So happy birthday, Scott. So
happy birthday,
Scott.
He comments on just about every post that we got. So I definitely got to shout him out.
This is Scott's free pass of the day. We won't pick on him because it's his birthday.
He's a homer just like I am. But actually, he's the first question I got here is actually from somebody who is a big FSU fan and is a huge Jameis Winston fan. So I'll ask this question to you because it has nothing to do with it, but you'll like this guy. Ryan Markey wants to know how you guys feel about Tyronn Lue being the Eastern Conference coach for the All-Star game. I'll start with you, Adam, because you're the Cavs guy, or sorry, you're the LeBron guy. So let's go to the LeBron guy first, and then we'll dissect it after.
All right. To me, it is what it is. It's
not a big deal, but
game.
it's a legitimate question to ask.
NBA All-Star game is like all of them, except the only one that's worth anything is the Major League Baseball All-Star game. It's just the way the rules are. He technically is the head coach of the Eastern Conference champion, so he's the coach of the All-Star game. It's not a big deal.
Whatever. I don't know. I kind of have a legitimate gripe about it. I mean, I get the point, but he's been a head coach for 4 games. So why don't you just have like an actual head coach? Like that's been coaching, like at least since last year. You know what I mean?
He's been coaching. He just hasn't been the head coach.
Well, you know what I mean. Like, I mean, I could throw out Brad Stevens, who turned a real crappy team into a middle tier, Celtics team, middle tier Eastern Conference team, whatever. You have Frank Vogel in there. You can have many Eastern Conference coaches. Like, why does it have to be Ty Lue? Just because his team was in the finals last year? That's it?
I mean, that's the way that the NBA has it set up. So, I mean, the gripe should go towards Adam Silver and the NBA.
No, my gripe is with you.
Well, you don't need to gripe with me because I'm the only one of the 3 of us that agreed that Tyronn Lue should be the head coach.
Okay. Tyronn Lue is not the head coach. LeBron James is the head coach, all right? LeBron is a coach killer. I don't care what you say. He tried to have Eric Spoelstra fired, and that's part of the reason why he didn't come back to Miami. So, loser. Great player. I want him on my team.
Negative. That's negative on that Ghost Rider. The pattern is full.
Great movie, buddy. Chris,
yeah.
You don't really care too much about this, huh?
No, I think this whole topic is ridiculous. No offense, Ryan. I mean, look, here's the deal. I mean, David Blatt should not have gotten fired. You're leading the Eastern Conference and you get fired. That's a joke. I'm sorry.
That is a joke. That is an absolute joke.
It's an absolute joke.
No, it's not.
Listen.
Why, Adam? Give me one good reason why David Blatt was deservedly fired. He was 80. We went 83 and 40 in 123 games and brought the Cavs to the finals in his first year. Why does he get canned? He was 30 and 11 this year before he got canned.
Yeah, it's a system move. It was nothing against him. It wasn't LeBron said get him out of here. It was a system move. They were 30 and 11. They were beating up on teams in the Eastern Conference. The 2 top teams in the West smashed them when they played this year. Like, the games weren't even close. It was an embarrassment. Golden State beat them by 34 in Cleveland's own house.
I got news for you, buddy. That's going to happen again. Tyronn Lue is not Phil Jackson.
I understand, but he changes the system in which they work. I'll just use Kevin Love for an example. What's Kevin Love's best place on the floor? At the elbow, right? Not
Yes.
sitting out at 3-point land where
Correct.
he's been since David Blatt's been there. So his elbow touches last year, he was getting like 3 a game. This year, he was at 4 a game. That's not good enough. His last year in Minnesota, he was at 12 touches on the elbow per game.
Right.
Since Tyronn Lue's taken over, it's back up to 7 right now.
So what's he been averaging? Like
For what?
What do his points look like? What do his rebounds look like? What do his assists look like?
Well, he's averaging 19 points a game since Lue took over, and he's shooting 50% from the floor. So, I mean, I don't know what more you can get out of him.
Hey, listen, this is the point, Ryan, where we discuss how Adam will, no matter what LeBron James does, could never be wrong. So I'd like to say that it doesn't matter who coaches the Cavs. I mean, you can get Red Auerbach to come up, rise from the dead and go.
That would be a blessing for
Cavs.
LeBron. Let's be honest here.
You could get.
But he might want him fired too.
You know, who was the legendary coach of the Pistons, Alex? The one that
Don Nelson?
No. The one that when the Pistons were on that run with Isaiah and Rodman and all that, the Bad Boys. Who was their coach?
Wow.
Anyway, you could bring him in there. You could bring Casey Jones and the Cavs right now. You could bring Pat Riley. The bottom line is, Adam, that it doesn't matter who coaches that team because you're going to get smashed by just about any team in the West.
Burn. It's a good point. We'll see, man. Like I don't know. You
can't beat the Spurs. You can't beat the Golden State Warriors. You even said yourself you're not even sure if you can beat the Oklahoma City Thunder. So what? And you're telling me that Tyronn Lue, with absolutely zero head coaching, I will clarify, experience, is going to go in there and turn them into a championship team? I just don't see it. You need to make some moves. You can't just move your coach and decide all of a sudden to be a champion. You know, you got a bunch of guys that play soft other than LeBron. You got Kevin Love who plays zero defense. You guys need to make a move. The only way you're going to win an NBA championship is by making a move, and you know it.
Let's be honest. Black got the short end of the stick here. I think LeBron wanted him gone. But what do I know? Let's get the next one, man. That was a good one. Scott, the legend, Scott Corvo. We're going to stay in the NBA. He wants to know if the Celtics are going to make a deal. And are they going to make a big deal? And I'll go with Larry Bird himself, Chris Allen.
Well, geez, Scott, I tell you, birthday boy. Boy, I tell you, I love to see the Celtics make a move, but the thing that worries me a lot, Scott, is that I don't want them to get rid of that New Jersey Nets pick, okay? Because I really feel like the way things are setting up right now, we have a very good shot at getting the number 1 pick. Now, I understand a lot of people are thinking that the Lakers are going to get it because it's some sort of rigged lottery, but I really feel like there's a chance. So as long as I feel like there's a chance to get the number 1 pick, and if miracle Ben Simmons lives up to the hype, then if I'm the Celtics, I don't make any moves that are too drastic because I think the Celtics can compete the way they are right now. They could possibly anywhere from a 4 to 6 seed, depending on how hot they get. Yes, they've been hot and they've been cold. I don't think the Celtics are necessarily going to pull any. There's not really anybody out there that's going to turn them into a championship caliber team just by making a trade.
Right.
So I feel like maybe if they could get. I don't know. I really loved, as much as everybody can't stand his attitude. I mean, I would die if DeMarcus Cousins came on that team. I mean, can you imagine, Alex, if DeMarcus Cousins came on that team and then we were to get a really solid draft pick and really build around these guys? I mean, what if DeMarcus Cousins comes over to the Celtics and just like a rim protector that we need, a dominant player to go along with Isaiah Thomas, and you get one more piece. You're talking about a potential championship for the Celtics in a very short amount of time, Alex. Do you agree with me on that?
Yeah, I fully agree with that, and mostly because all of their really, really good players are in their mid-20s. So as long as that group stays together, they could win. You know, I wouldn't say title after title after title because wherever LeBron is, obviously his teams will be in contention too. But Adam, I think that Cousins would be a huge get, and you'd have to unload quite a bit to get him. And to me, it's it's worth it. But it really depends on what you're giving up, because you're going to really have to give up something to get him. And but for someone as talented as that, headaches or not, it's very hard to pass up someone that averages 25 and 12 and even 3 or 4 assists a game. The guy can single-handedly take over games. He scored 104 points and grabbed like 30 rebounds in a 2-game stretch there last week. So the guy is uber talented, and if the Celtics could land him, that'd be big. I think they need like a kind of like a 6'7", 6'8" forward. But if I could get Boogie, man, I would take him. Adam, I don't know how you feel about that. Oh, look! It looks like we're missing Adam. A little technical difficulties. That's not good.
Let me say
right.
this. I completely agree with you, Alex. I mean, the thing about it is in this, Scott, we're still talking about your question, buddy. And the thing is that, Alex, you said we're going to have to give up a lot. Now, the question is, do you think we'd have to give up that top draft pick? And Alex, are you comfortable top draft pick? You know what I mean? It's like, geez, I don't know. I mean, boy, is Cousins good. It's like, boy, it's really, really tempting, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, it'd be at the expense of Ben Simmons potentially. I think, I don't know like how high that Brooklyn pick could be. It could be high, it could be very high. But do you give up something, kind of an unknown in Ben Simmons, who could be, the next LeBron, if you will? That's what the NBA scouts are all saying. I see someone a little more like a Lamar Odom type.
Yeah, I agree.
And Lamar Odom was really good, but he was, he wasn't a superstar. He was just a very, very good, point forward type of player.
I agree with what you're saying. Is what at this point in time, it's like, here's the question right here: do you want the guaranteed guy that is good? Do you want to get DeMarcus Cousins? And I keep using him as an example. I also wouldn't mind having a Paul George. Of course, the only problem with that is Indiana's right in the thick of things. I think you're gonna have to get a player that's from a team that's out of it right now. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why I keep using Cousins as an example. Now, my question to you, Alex, is what do you think? Do you think that would you give up the draft or less take your chances in the draft? It's kind of one of those things where, do you take the sure thing, or do you go with the draft pick and try to keep most of your team together and then build around that draft pick?
It's a tough call because they have some contracts coming off the book, so they can throw just as much money as they want to at any kind of free agent that they really desire. And like someone like Durant is going to be a free agent. I'm not saying that they're going to get him, but they have an opportunity to build through free agency as well. But when it comes to the draft pick, there's not really anybody else that's coming out of the draft. They got that senior from Oklahoma and that freshman from Duke outside of Ben Simmons. But after that, it's a whole lot of, kind of uncertainty. So,
yeah,
if I had to choose, I would say, screw it. Give me Boogie, who's 24, 25 years old, who's got, at least 10 really, really, really good years left in him. That's just someone that you build around.
I agree with you. I think I would absolutely take him because as we've seen in number one draft picks throughout the years, guaranteed thing. I mean, yes, I feel Andrew Wiggins is an incredible player. I think he's going to be, I feel like he's going to dominate one of these days. So that the Cavs were probably not the smartest. It was probably not the smartest of moves for them to dish him out the way they did to get somebody like Kevin Love, who really feel fits in well with them. So, I mean, again, that's off subject. Saying like you're not guaranteed to get a superstar just because you get the number one pick. I mean, we've seen it throughout the years. You've seen a lot of busts, Alex, and I feel like you're right. I got to agree with you on this one, and I'm going with the superstar. And I really feel like you can use the word superstar when you describe Cousins. I mean, look at what he's been doing in the last few weeks.
Yeah, he's been killing it. And who's to say? Like maybe Sacramento throws in Rudy Gay too. Who knows? That'd be fantastic. I mean, who would you now, Alex? My question to you is if you're Sacramento, right? You're basically going nowhere. You have your future is not looking very bright, and then you end up giving away your two best players. Who do you want in return? I mean, obviously you're getting a draft pick, but what if you
roll the dice with that trade, and then all of a sudden New Jersey starts playing well. You know what I mean? And the next thing you know, you don't even get a top 5 pick. And like you just said, the draft is not that deep this year.
No, it's not. It's not at all. So
I mean,
we'll see. I mean,
I don't know if it's all a question is if you can put enough bait on that line for Sacramento to make a move like that. I guess.
Whatever. If they want to throw Rudy in that, I'll be more than happy to take him.
Hey, I'll take both of them off their hands. I would, I got to be honest with you, Scott. I would like to keep some of my core players. I really feel like starting to come around. He could be a guy that's really could be good off the bench in the future. I don't know if he's necessarily going to be a great starter in the NBA, but I feel on the bench I really like him a lot. Obviously, I like Isaiah Thomas a lot. I like Marcus Smart, but obviously, if we make a trade like that, some of these guys are going to go. But
somebody's going
to
go.
To think, who do you think the Celtics would have to give up, Alex?
Yeah, I think Smart would probably have to be in that deal. Like you said, you're going to have to give up something to get something, and to get someone, as skilled as Boogie is, you're looking at least, either one of Jared Sullinger or Kelly Olynyk. You're looking at least David Lee's contract. You're looking at probably Marcus Smart and or Avery Bradley, and probably one or two more pieces, and then you're looking at probably 1, 2, maybe even 3 draft picks. So you're mortgaging a lot of your future to get Boogie.
But you do know that Marcus Smart has like one of the best names for a Boston player, right?
Marcus Smart.
We can't get rid of Marcus Smart.
Well, Boogie and Rudy Gay are not getting the Celtics past the Cavs.
Oh, he comes back to the show. He comes back to the show after he gets the boot. Okay, still talking Celtics, and somehow
throws
his Cavs get brought up. It's a Celtics question for Scott, and you talk Cavs.
Scott, the only question that should ever be asked about the NBA should have to do with LeBron James.
Oh my God,
you're such an ass.
Greatest player to ever step onto the court.
He's not even the greatest player this year.
Oh my God.
So you're telling me? So you think he right now? You think he, as much as I don't, he's better than Steph Curry?
He's not playing as well as Steph Curry, but he's better than Steph.
So far, the times that they've played against each other, Steph kind of foolish, don't you think?
Steph Curry got him this year when Kyrie was fresh off the injury. He got him in the finals with half of his team. So I'm looking forward to a finals rematch this
Adam,
year.
you are aware you just played full strength and got beat by like 57 points, right?
It was 34, and Kyrie was just coming off an injury. Like he hasn't
Isn't
really
30. When you get past 30, does it really matter how many points it is? 57, 34, 90? It's all irrelevant, isn't it?
You just enjoy your 8 seed and first round dismantling.
I'll see. The thing about it is, Adam, is I'm realistic. I know we're around that. You think you could? That's the unrealistic part of your life.
We'll see.
We will.
So Scott, I hope
Lue,
you
man.
answered your question, Scott. I mean, I try to be, as big a Boston Celtics fan as I can. I can't help it, Scott, that I have I get blindsided by these silly people that follow one player all over the NBA wherever he goes next. It's like throwing a dart at hey, where's LeBron going to be next?
To answer Scott's question, I'm going to actually say that they do make a deal, and I think it'll be a major one. I don't know if it'll be Boogie, but I do think that they make a big deal.
I'll tell you, I'm praying for Boogie.
So am I. But I think that Ainge is getting to the point where, he's stockpiled this and he's stockpiled that, and he hasn't done anything with it. So I think if there's anything that's remotely close to what he's willing to give up, I think he will pull the trigger. And I think it'll be tough, like on a lot of people, just in this neck of the woods, who might fall in love with, like you said, like a Marcus Smart, So I think if the deal's right or remotely close to what Ainge is willing to give up, I think that he's going to finally pull the trigger, because you can only stockpile so much crap, and I think that Ainge will end up pulling the trigger. It's a good question, Scott. Very good question. Let's see what else do we got here. Actually, I had a rumor today. I have this on my list of stuff to talk about. There's a rumor circulating, and I believe I read it on Bleacher Report, that there's a possibility of one Kevin Durant and one Russell Westbrook teaming up in 2017 for the Los Angeles Lakers. What do you guys think about that? And I'll start with Adam.
To me, it doesn't put them in kind of better of a situation than what they have now. I mean, they'll actually be worse off because Oklahoma City's roster is better than what the Lakers trot out every night.
Well, you know that the Lakers are going to get the first pick because Kobe's retiring, right? You do know that.
Okay, and you and Chris are sold on this Ben, but to me, I don't see it.
Actually, Adam, it's not your fault. You missed because you got dropped for a second. Neither Alex and I are sold on Ben Simmons. We both think he's got a lot of upside, but we both would rather take a proven DeMarcus Cousins over a Ben Simmons. That's what we were talking about earlier.
I mean, you'd be foolish not to.
Well, we both did, so apparently we're not foolish.
Okay, so adding that kid to Durant and Russell Westbrook is not going to improve that team that much. They're going to lose more games in LA than they will in Oklahoma City.
They got a pretty good young core, though. If you look at it on the whole.
I completely disagree. I mean, you like Alex, run with that a little bit. They definitely have a good young core. I mean, if they were to go there right now, you still have Kobe. Kobe's still every once in a while putting together good games. I mean, you're contenders. If you put those two players on that team, they're an instant contender.
They're talking about 2017. There is no Kobe.
Yeah, there won't be a Kobe.
You're not talking about this year?
No. It's 2017. 2017.
It doesn't matter though. You put those two teams on. You put those two players on any team, they're automatic contender.
See that's where I agree.
Listen. They're still going to be in the Western Conference, so they're Spurs. They're still going to have to deal with Golden State. If Kevin Durant would go to Washington and be with Beal and John Wall, that's a contender in the Eastern Conference, which is a way easier conference to get to the finals. They just have to get through LeBron. I'm not trying to bring. I wasn't trying to.
I mean, you don't even Sometimes you do it on purpose, and then you do it on accident, and you still bring up LeBron. Whatever.
Adam, you are aware that every single year that goes by, LeBron is getting a little bit worse and worse every year, right? You are understanding that, right?
I understand that. Father Time catches up with everybody.
And you do know that he's played more minutes than most average players because of all of his playoff games. He's played basically an extra season and a half just in playoff games.
I understand that, but you two cannot realistically sit here and say that there's any contender in the East except for the Cavs.
I absolutely can. I don't think the Cavs are a lock right now, running away with that Eastern Division as far as record goes. But I think there are teams that can contend with them. I think Chicago can be right there if they stayed healthy.
Oh my God!
Okay. And does it even really matter? Your Cleveland Cavaliers might not even be able to beat the first 5 teams in the West. It doesn't matter.
But what I'm trying, Kevin Durant would have a better shot at the title if he went to Washington than staying with Westbrook going to the Lakers.
Why, if you're Kevin Durant and you have a choice between the L.A. Lakers, I want you to let that sink in for a minute. The L.A. Lakers over the Washington Wizards. What do? You don't take the Washington Wizards. You go to Showtime. You go to the L.A., which is the storied franchise with all the championships, with Tinseltown, baby, all the actors, all the musicians, everybody loves Hollywood.
We'll see because we'll see if he really values
Washington
going
is.
home.
Washington is home.
Yeah, that is his home. We'll see if he values that. He's gonna have a tough decision to make. They
don't even need Kevin Durant. They got the best player in the NBA in Bradley Beal anyway.
Oh my God. Your starting 5, Chris, would be Aaron Gordon, Chandler Parsons, Bradley Beal, Derrick Rose, and I don't know, Blake Griffin.
We'd go 82-0.
Oh my God,
whatever, man. Whatever. Got another question here. This is a football-related topic. Elijah. My buddy Elijah, I used to coach him in football. He wants to know if are what the Patriots should do in the draft this year. And,
who you want to go with first, buddy?
I'll start with myself. I'll be selfish. I'm gonna go. Well, seeing as how they don't have a first-round pick, I would probably go O-lineman, honestly. And, people are talking about how, if the Patriots had a deep threat in that game, that would have helped. No, it would not have helped. I'm sorry. Because, Brady snaps the ball, he's already down, okay? At that point, your deep threat wide receiver is maybe 6 yards upfield. So, to me, that's not going to help. I do think they do need a stretch wide receiver, but considering how much of a glaring problem the offensive line was just in the AFC Championship game, and it was like this throughout the whole year, I would start with the O-line, and then you build up some of your other pieces. Excuse me, and plus they got a bunch of huge free agents the next offseason, so. I think they'll deal with that this offseason too. But to answer that question, I would probably go with O-lineman, and then I'll defer to Adam on this one.
Totally agree. Dan, the Patriots. I think with a semi decent offensive line to be heading to the Super Bowl.
Yep.
So I would definitely start there. I mean, as everybody should know, NFL games are won in the trenches, offense, defensive line. That's where they have to go.
Chris, do you know that they, my Pats were looking at our boy Braxton Miller at the senior game?
Yeah. Now, what position are they going to have him play?
They're going to have him at wide out.
Braxton Miller can play.
They're going to have him at wide out.
He can play any position. Yeah. I mean, Adam, you and I know he could play any position. You put him anywhere.
Where do you think the
talk about a noodle arm?
Well, we didn't say anything about him, but Alex, unfortunately, as much as I hate to say this, I have to agree with the two of you, and it drives me crazy with Adam. I hate agreeing with Adam.
But it was such a glaring problem, though. That's the thing, It just reared its ugly head at the wrong time.
I would say this. I feel like you need one more, and I don't know. I've heard rumors about a possibility of Calvin Johnson if he can talk him out of retirement. I think
send him over.
I think you need one more guy.
They need a running back too. Deion Lewis coming off a torn ACL. Blunt had a hip problem, but as a bell cow guy, I don't know. He's 29.
But you go offensive line, and when you've done enough, you go offensive line one more time. But then, since you can get a diamond that in the NFL draft, it's very offensive line, quarterback, defensive end heavy, right?
Yep.
So I think you can find a decent wide receiver in the later drafts. Now, if you can't get somebody in the offseason like a Calvin Johnson or a DeAndre Hopkins, who I think is also a free agent as well, if you can get one of those guys, I mean, that puts you right back in the thick of things. I mean, you guys will be probably the odds-on favorite to win the Super Bowl if you get a receiver like that. Can't get one of those guys. You go offensive line heavy in the draft, and then you try to find a wide receiver with you could use a burner down the field because you still don't really have that, and get that in the later rounds, I feel.
Yeah, I agree.
I would say offensive line, and after you've got a couple of those, I agree with Alex. You go running back. I mean, realistically, you're only going to get another year or two where Brady's throwing it 50 times a game. Eventually, they're going to have to change up the offensive style, take some pressure off of him.
I agree with you. Also, they do need a running back, but running back is one of those positions now in the NFL where you can pretty much find anybody from anywhere, and they're a good running back. I don't know if you necessarily need to waste a draft pick on a running back. I say the word waste loosely. I think it's a waste of a pick. I just feel like there's a lot of backup running backs that are coming up. Like, for instance, a Thomas Rawls who came in and backed up a Marshawn Lynch, and he was tearing it up. And then, of course, he got hurt.
Yep.
There's backups that people have never even heard of that come in. It's a position now in the NFL that's kind of a not so much a staple position in the NFL anymore. You know what I mean? The days of Adrian Peterson or Terrell Davis or Corey Dillon or something like that are kind of fading away in the NFL. It's like you can, like I said, you can just plug a guy in lately, and I think the Patriots could find somebody like that, you know, and not have to pick it in in a draft pick.
Yep.
So
I agree. We got 5 minutes left, and we'll do one, maybe two more questions. Get another one from Elijah here. He wants to know, and this is actually this is a really good question because Mr. Brady isn't getting any younger, like Adam alluded to earlier. He'll be 39 here fairly soon. Do the Patriots need to start really, planning for the future? Not that they don't. I mean, some of their really, really, really good players are, young, just within their first 5 years of, being in the league. But their best player is going to be 39 years old. So, Chris, I mean, is it time to really start, planning ahead? I know Garoppolo's the backup and all that, but if there's a quarterback, that's, kind of just laying in the weeds there in this upcoming draft or even the next year's draft, is that something that you start really looking at?
Yes, I mean, like you said, I think Tom Brady wants to play till he's he says he wants to play till he's 50. I mean, we all know that's not going to happen.
Probably not going to happen, but
he's what, 39 now?
He'll be 39. He said he wants to play another 5 to 8 years, and I don't know how realistic that is, but I can sit here and hope.
I'd say 3 years is more realistic. So now what they're going to have to do eventually is I think they're going to have to probably move Garoppolo, and I think they're going to pick up another quarterback in the draft, because now you're going to be looking at Garoppolo in the league for 6 years, sitting there, and just you could trade him and possibly move up in the draft somewhere along the line.
Yeah, well, they did that with Rodgers in Green Bay too, and that turned out to be all right.
Yeah, but I think you would agree with me that Garoppolo is no Aaron Rodgers.
No, absolutely not. I don't. Yeah, obviously, but
I think your best players is probably Rob Gronkowski, Tom Brady, and I think you could probably put Julian Edelman in there. I feel like Malcolm Butler is starting to make a strong as one of your better players. That guy is a talented kid. I'm telling you, he made some incredible plays in that Denver game. But that's getting off the point. Boy, did he make some great tackles, Alex. You should be really, really high on him. I mean, I do need to touch on that a little bit. I mean, some of those plays he made on fourth and one, third and one, just coming around off the corner and making just great tackles. I mean, not only is he a good cover guy now, but he's a really good tackler as well.
Yeah, I think he's exceeded everybody's expectations. I don't think anybody expected him to be a shutdown corner, and I wouldn't. He wasn't a shutdown corner this year, but I think he's got
potential to be one, and I think. But yes, Alex, to answer your point, so Adam can make his point because we're running out of time. Is that I feel like you do eventually need to start planning on when Brady is going to be retiring. But the question is Garoppolo the guy that you want to keep for another 3 years, or do you want to move him along and try to get some move up in the draft by trading a Garoppolo, who a lot of players might want because he has been sitting there learning under Tom Brady?
Yeah, it's very true. Adam, what do you think, man?
I think first thing they need to do is figure out what they have in Garoppolo. How good is he actually? What's his level of potential going to be? Because if they believe that I think they should lock him up to a long-term deal, because like you guys said, Brady's probably got 2 or 3 years. Do you want a rookie coming in trying to run that offense?
Right.
Because, I mean, we've seen veteran after veteran wide receiver come in and they can't pick up that.
Yeah, it's a very complicated.
You got somebody that's been there for 3 years already. So I mean, he knows the system. I just think in those games that the Patriots are either blowing somebody out or they're getting blown out, which doesn't happen very often, they should put Garoppolo on the field. Put him in live game action other than the couple of preseason games that he gets to play.
Yeah, it's It's a tough call because I mean you look at like the year Brady had. This was statistically his second best year, and he's 38, going to be 39. So it's a tough call. Like for me, it's very hard to look into the future and say that Tom Brady's not going to be the quarterback of the Patriots at maybe 5-10 years down the road, obviously, but it is something that they're going to have to look at. I don't know if that quarterback is in this draft or if he's currently employed by the Patriots. We don't really know how Garoppolo is going to be. So the good thing for Garoppolo or any quarterback that's coming in is that their best offensive players are locked in for the next 5 to 6 years. So we'll see, man. We'll see.
I'll tell you the best thing for Garoppolo is backup quarterbacks that are backups to great quarterbacks such as Brady or Rodgers. They get paid a boatload of money in free agency when nobody's really seen them do anything.
Yeah, look at Brian
So
Hoyer.
he's in the best position possible.
Yep.
I mean, look how much of a panic the Patriots were in when they thought Tom Brady was going to be suspended for the first 2 games. I mean, Patriot Nation was up in utter panic. I mean, if you honestly think that they think they have something in Garoppolo right now, I mean, I think you're wrong. I mean, I feel like just because of panic alone tells you that Garoppolo is probably not the answer, and I think they're going to go in a different direction.
We'll see.
I mean, Garoppolo's not going to get them to the Super Bowl, but he
But
most likely could have got them to the playoffs with the weapons.
when you're in New England though, that's not cut it. It's Super Bowl or bust every year, as you know. And yes, they didn't make it this year, but a bad first half, taken away from Brady, if he plays better in that first half, they probably are in the Super Bowl. So every year when you're in New England, you're competing for a Super Bowl no matter what. So just possibly making the playoffs and cracking into the playoffs is not enough in New England. So I feel like that's another reason why you take a look at moving Garoppolo, moving up in the draft, getting some more offensive linemen, getting a wide receiver, and then you can go out and draft your quarterback again. You can always find a backup quarterback.
We'll see, man. That was a really good question.
Not necessarily. Ask Dallas Cowboys how hard it is to find a backup quarterback.
Well, once you lose,
well, stop taking bottom of the barrel scrubs, man.
Once you lose Tom Brady, your season's over anyway. So at that point, does it really matter who your backup is, Adam? All I'm trying to say is I don't think Jimmy Garoppolo is the Super Bowls, and the way that the New England has been accustomed to winning Super Bowls. You have to I know you'd like to disagree with me on everything, but do you really honestly think Jimmy Garoppolo is the next Brett Favre or Aaron Rodgers? He's just not. He's played in games, and you can tell right. It's just not.
Well, it's like a baseball player bats that he gets, the better he's going to become. So Garoppolo doesn't see the field enough, and I would trust Garoppolo more than I would trust a rookie quarterback coming in. That's all I was trying to say.
Yeah. That's a good point. Well, we won't know until, God forbid Brady gets hurt or, Brady's struggling or something like that. We won't know. We literally won't know until there's a different quarterback starting for the New England Patriots. So we'll see. Elijah, that was
like all of the action that you've seen from Garoppolo in the preseason. He's got a second-string offense out there. He's playing second-string defenses. Or the game that regular season, he might come in for a series or two. I mean, so you just don't have a big enough sample size on it.
You know what this is, Alex. Are you figuring it out? I figured it out. Adam wants Garoppolo. He knows he's not that good. See, don't let him fool you for 1 second, because if he has a brain in his head, he knows that Jimmy Garoppolo is not the answer to Super Bowls. I've seen the guy play. He's just not that
Jimmy
good.
G, Adam?
I'm not saying that he's the reason that they're going to win Super Bowls or anything like that. I'm just saying that he's a stopgap for a couple of years.
Patriot Nation, watch out. Adam Little is now trying to game.
Patriot Nation, only thing you need to know, when Belichick and Brady leave, you're going to be the bottom of the barrel like most other teams in the league.
And that also reiterates my point is why would you not try to better yourself by using a Garoppolo? You could get more draft picks because like you said, Adam, teams are going to overpay for a guy like that. So you could possibly move up in the draft and get the help that you need right now. And you could also draft another quarterback late in late rounds, a possible project, And then if that doesn't work out, you can draft another quarterback. Because if Tom Brady has 3 or 4 more years, which he probably does, you have a little bit of time to play around.
See,
Well,
I told you, Real Take Nation, he's a flip flopper. He's talking like he's a Patriots fan. He's a Giant. He's a Giants fan who beat you in the Super Bowl 2 times.
Shut up.
That's fine. That's fine. But I think Patriots fans will agree with me right now. You've got a guy sitting there that you can use as trade bait to move yourself up in the draft to address the needs that you need right now. I think even Alex is not going to agree with me because I don't know. Maybe he does, but I think he knows right now you need to fix now. You don't need the quarterback now. If Tom Brady goes down next year, your season's over. Garoppolo's not going to come in and he's not going to pull what Tom Brady did when Bledsoe got hurt. Rarely happens.
Well, let's be honest here.
Jimmy Garoppolo is not going to be that guy.
Let's be honest here before we get into our real take for the show. Brady's going to play till he's 65 and he's going to win 7 more Super Bowls. So let's move on, okay? We're going to finish the show with our real take for the night. And when I say that, essentially what did Adam, Chris, and myself learn from today's show? So I'm going to start with Adam. Adam, what is your real take from today's show?
All right, Alex. My real take goes 2-part thing here. One, I learned that Chris hates LeBron James. And part 2, I said at the beginning of the show, Chris flip-flopped from a Giants to a Patriots fan. So those are my real takes from the show.
That's awesome. That's a good take. Chris, what's your real take for today?
Because nobody really cares. I'm training for a triathlon. And also my next real take is that Adam and I are going to be arguing an awful lot this season.
It keeps you alive, man. It's good. It's all good conversation. We love it. My real take, though.
I would like to say one more thing. Also, I appreciate the questions from our fans, and
yes, definitely.
Our fans can keep doubling every time we do the show.
For sure. I think this went great for our first time. Minus a few technical difficulties and all that. I thought this show went great. I'm very excited. But my real take.
Can I break in real quick? I have a message for Real Take Nation, if I could. I just wanted to let Real Take Nation know that even though this is up and we cannot be seen, that Chris had to get his hair and makeup done before we started the show.
I mean, Real Take Nation. Listen, Adam and Alex promised me a refrigerator, a juice bar, all these things, and I'm still stuck down here in my basement. But I'm assuming when we become famous, I'm going to get all these presents.
Yeah, probably
the dirty ass basement studios.
Dirty ass basement studios. That's right. That is. Let's get on my real take, man. My real take is Tom Brady's going to play till he's 65. He's going to be a 10-time Super Bowl champion. It's going to be amazing. So,
and you have now woken up from dreamland.
I have. My other real take is I believe that the Celtics are going to actually make a fairly big splash at the trade deadline. So I'm looking forward to that. So again, also just kind of, tailing what Chris was saying about the Real Take Nation. I just want to thank all you guys for all your ladies and gentlemen, I should say, for all your guys' continued support of us. Like I said, when we started the show, this is something that we're gonna enjoy doing. We love doing it, but we're doing it for a lot of you guys too. So, and we feel that we connect with everyone that we talk to about sports. So we're super duper excited for what the future.
Can I say
has.
one more thing, Alex?
Yeah, man.
I would like to say I want to thank you guys for because this is your guys' idea, and I appreciate you letting me come on, and I want to let you become rich and famous by myself from this show. I promise I won't forget you guys, and I'll come back and buy you some treats every once in a while.
You're a dick, man.
Thank you. That would be greatly appreciated.
No, it's definitely been a pleasure, and we're definitely ready for this ride. And hopefully, there's a lot more ups than downs. But Again, we just want to thank every single one of you for your continued support. So you can find us on our YouTube channel, which is where this first podcast is going to be. I'll also be posting it in other spots, and I'll let you guys know on the Facebook and Twitter page. Again, you can find us at Real Take No Holds Barred Sports on Facebook. You can tweet us at Real Take NHB on Twitter, like I said. Shoot any one of us a text or anything on Facebook. Just, if you guys got any questions or concerns, we'll definitely shout all you guys out that, continue to talk to us on the page. You can also email us at realtakenhbs@yahoo.com. And again, awesome show, guys. I'm very excited. So thank you guys for listening, and hope everybody has a great and safe week. Everybody have a great night.
Deuces.